What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video, Great League Remix Cup, Crocalor, Superior, and Shadow Feraligatr. I just decide to put a team together to have a lot of fun. Obviously, we have a unique lineup here when it comes to Fire, Grass, Water. We don't typically see that. We usually see ABB, but with how popular Carbink is in this meta now, after we've had the Great League Remix Cup for well over a week, this team can handle that. It's really nice if you see a Carbink because you have great options across the board. Obviously, Crocalor is going to have a little bit of trouble there because of the super effective damage and the resisted damage we are doing with Incinerate and Crunch, but thankfully we do have Disarming Voice. Overall, this team was solid, climbed a bit of rating up to close to 2,900 now, so in the final sprint for Legend, hopefully I can get there this season. But this team was a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, getting into the first battle, we have Crocalor on the lead versus Shadow Drapion. Haven't seen this Pokemon in a while, but it's obviously incredibly powerful, especially potentially against this team because of Aqua Tail, Crunch, and maybe even Sludge Bomb if they have it. So what we're going to look to do here is go for Disarming Voice. This is going to do a good amount of neutral damage in the matchup, and with the Incinerates as well, that we're going to be able to start racking up here, we should be able to dominate the Drapion with fast moves. Now, I let the Aqua Tail go through, and I quickly realized that that did way more damage than I thought it was going to, so now I'm swapping into the Feraligatr here to get ahead on energy and see what we can bait out, as they really didn't want to see Crocalor in the back. Now, I go for Hydro Cannon right away, as this, I believe, was going to be charge attack priority right there. So the Hydro Cannon will knock out, so Drapion is out of the game. Next Pokemon is going to be Ferrothorn. So obviously Crocalor really going to enjoy seeing the Ferrothorn here onto the field. Superior can do well against it, and even Feraligatr here with a Shadow Claw and Hydro Cannon gets it to 50% HP. That is perfect, because now the Ferrothorn might not be able to make it to a charge move, boom, against my Crocalor. And Incinerate here is going to do so much damage. I think it's going to be 3 Incinerates, maybe 2, but they decide to swap out into Quagsire, and obviously this is now checkmate. Superior can dominate this matchup. I just have to be concerned about Sludge Bomb. Quagsire has access to it, so I'm going to respect, but it is going to be Stone Edge, which is fine. It's typically going to be Stone Edge and Aqua Tail, but Sludge Bomb is a spicy move that they could run, as we decide to go for the Aerial Ace here to knock out the Quagsire, but they decide to give up a shield. So now I go for the Aerial Ace again, but they actually had the energy, and I lose the charge attack priority as another Stone Edge will land. This is perfectly fine. Superior against the... I'm going to undercharge this as well, so I can fast move down, because obviously if you don't hit the bubbles, it does less damage. And then we will now fast move down. We get an extra few Vine Whips there, 2 of them. And now what we're going to look to do is go for Aerial Ace and then swap into Crocalor to throw the Crunch, because there is energy that I saved on it. So the Aerial Ace will land. We counter swap, throw Crunch right away, and that is going to be a good game. Very well played. The little Wombo combo here at the end. But overall, good first battle. Boom. See ya. All right, moving into the next one, Crocalor versus Superior. Okay, really nice lead here. What we're going to see is a swap out into Dugong. Now, we don't have a great hard answer to Dugong. Superior can do well, but we're also taking super effective damage from Ice Shard and Icy Wind. So what we need to do instead is utilize our Crocalor here to get the Dugong low, and then I actually do a stalemate there. They were waiting for me to throw the Incinerate, and I was waiting for them to throw the Ice Shard. But we're going to go ahead and swap into Feraligatr here. I was going to see if we could bait out the Drill Run and catch it on Feraligatr, but overall, it was fine. I gave up a shield, and Drill Run now is going to be landing. So a niche little moment right there against my opponent, where they were waiting for my Incinerate to go through to give them the free opportunity to go for one Ice Shard and throwing, and I was just waiting for them to try to catch the charge move. But Dugong goes down. We do see the Superior come back in, and now my Feraligatr has Ice Beam. What I found with this team is that I could utilize the flyer coverage a bit more with Ice Beam. Oh, so much damage. Rather than Crunch, because of Mandibuzz, and the Ice Beam helps out if there are any dragons out there as well. Giratina Origin is going to be something we face off against, and in the back is going to be the Carbink. Now we swap out into Superior, and even though we are down 2-to-1 shields, or 1-to-2 shields if we go from our side, Superior can still do well in this situation. Vine Whip and Frenzy Plant is a beautiful combination to have. Yes, I could be trying to bait with Aerial Ace, but ultimately I lose if they no-shield an Aerial Ace. So it's just better for me to just go straight Frenzy Plants in order to win this game, because a Moonblast is not going to be enough to one-shot me. So all I need to do is get to 3 Frenzy Plants, right? Or in this case, 2 more in order to win this game, as the next one gets shielded, and then we will get to another one almost in time. Switch Clock is coming back up, so we got to be careful about them swapping in to catch the charge move, but we survive. Switch Clock is not there yet, and I do get the Frenzy Plant just in time. This is the exact timing that I needed in order to win this game, as we will now swap out into Crocalor to fast move down, and then we go for the crunch here against the Superior, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. So very strong team right there, right? Superior, Carbink, Dugong, top meta, able to beat it. Boom, see ya. All right, moving into the next one, we have Crocalor on the lead versus Carbink. Okay, Carbink on the lead. Let's see what we can do. Obviously, the Feraligatr is the safe swap on this team, as we will go ahead and swap into it, and we draw out a Giratina Origin. Now, in this matchup, Ice Beam will one-shot, right? But we can just go straight Hydro Cannons here, because what we're going to be doing is racing them with fast moves, right? We're doing super effective, they're only doing neutral. So this is going to be a very interesting race as we go ahead and shield the Ominous Wind. Any damage that we get, we're shielding, but as you guys can see, we are outpacing them. And Hydro Cannon, even though it is resisted, this is a greatly Giratina Origin. This will knock them out if it lands. So Ice Beam is great to have in a situation where they have no shields, but if you're a toe-to-toe with the Giratina Origin, we are going straight Hydro Cannon in this situation. As you guys will see, I get to the next one in time. So now we successfully took switch advantage, which is huge, right? We get Superior here against the Carbink. But now my opponent is going to bring in a Shadow Sableye, and this, I don't get to the Hydro Cannon either. This is going to be tough. I bring in the Crocalor here, but Power Gem is going to hit me like a truck. This is Shadow Sableye, mind you, not Purified with Return. Shadow with super effective Power Gem, so I have to swap out after taking all my health there. I'm desperately trying to get to this Aerial Ace, but they get to the foul play in time. Even though I took switch advantage, this was a very tough position for me to be in, as we will now see the Carbink come in. I need to get to 2 Frenzy Plants in time, but I don't know if I'm going to get there. Frenzy Plant does do enough, right? It's enough. If I can get to the second one, maybe we can win this game. One fast move away. So that is going to be a good battle to my opponent. Even though I took switch advantage, obviously the Shadow Sableye was able to take advantage of it. So good battle right there. All right, moving to the next one, we have Gligar on the lead. So what we're going to look to do is stay in this matchup, as Superior doesn't want to see the Gligar. We can still do decent against it, right, with neutral damage. We will have to watch out for Dig, but Incinerate is going to do a lot, and I opt to no shield, thinking they are probably going to be going for baits, which is totally fine by me, because if I can get myself the 2-to-1 shield advantage here on the lead, and then come in with Feraligatr and farm down, we're going to be looking pretty good. Now we get a defense drop there, which then changes my potential win condition by shielding this Aerial Ace and going for the farm down. But they smartly swap out, so I decide to throw Crunch, as we do see a water Pokemon, I believe it is Feraligatr, that comes in, and now we can bring in Superior. So, because we got the defense drop, if the Gligar stayed in, right, we Incinerate down. That's why I decided to give up a shield. Otherwise, we no-shield the charge move. And Crunch is going to land, but we are in a great position right here. I will go for Frenzy Plant. I don't think Aerial Ace is just enough, and I don't want to get hit with another Hydro Cannon or Crunch, so we will just throw Frenzy Plant, get that thing out of here, and now the Gligar coming in is going to get hit with an Aerial Ace, and this thing is low enough. This is why I said Superior doesn't fear Gligar as much as you think it might when it comes to a Flying versus Grass, because of that neutral damage that we can do. Now, if they're weak to Superior, Shadow Feraligatr is probably going to do very well. So we're going to go ahead and come in and farm down with that. And the final Pokemon is, in fact, Empoleon. So that is going to be a good game, very well played. All right. Moving into the next one, we have Crocolore versus Carbink once again on the lead. So we're going to do the same thing. We're swapping out into the Feraligatr, and they do decide to bring in a Shadow Victory Bell. This is where the game, I try to get to the Ice Beam here, this is where the game can be very, very dangerous, because if they have something to beat the Superior in the back, right, we just lose. Triple hard countered. So what we're going to do is come in with Crocolore. We're going to wait our switch clock out as long as we can so that we can get the Superior onto the field as quickly as possible. Now they decide to throw a Leaf Blade here, which is fine by me. I'll take that resisted damage all day long and delay the switch clock even more. But now the Carbink coming back in. Thankfully my opponent is waiting out switch clock as well. So, you know, that's good. Crocolore doesn't take as much damage. We can go for a Crunch here. I decided to go for Crunch to try to apply the debuff if they do decide to stay in, and we got it, but they swap in a Tropius, but this is Razor Leaf Tropius. So now we have a potential win condition, and that's going to be the Aerial Ace spam. And because this is Razor Leaf Tropius, we actually can survive pretty well. Now, if this was Air Slash Tropius, obviously we're in a bit of trouble, because the super effective damage would just add up way too quick. The charge move spam would be way too much. But now the Superior is in a position where we just got to 3 Aerial Aces before they decided to throw a charge move. This now forces their final shield. I have the 2-0 shield advantage, and I have to shield, right? Even if it is a Leaf Blade that's resisted, I need all the health that I can get on this Superior. So we're going to go ahead and just keep loading up on energy. We're going to shield the next charge move, and then what we will see is my opponent decide to swap out, and rightfully so. They need to come in with Carbink in order to potentially win, right? They can't stay in with that Tropius and let me load up on energy. So I'm going to throw the Frenzy Plant here, and now I have to catch a charge move, so I'm going to go... No, I didn't time it right. Should have gone right there. That would have been a beautiful catch had I been able to do it. But unfortunately, Superior goes down, and obviously Crocolore is going to go down as well. So very close right there. Had I been able to catch the charge move, I think we win that game. Good battle to my opponent. All right, moving to the next one. We have Crocolore versus Mantine. Okay, this is a tough Pokemon to be facing off against for our team, but thankfully Crocolore and Feraligatr, actually all 3 of them, have play, right? You got Crunch, you got Frenzy Plant, you got the Ice Beam for neutral damage, you got Shadow Claw. There's a lot of play to be had, but it's not impossible. Now, with the Ferrothorn swapping in, we landed the Ice Beam, and this is a position where we could take switch advantage, but I'm not going to. I need energy advantage, boom, in order to potentially win. Because again, we don't have a hard counter for Mantine, we have neutral play. So we're going to utilize that to the best of our ability by fast moving down the Ferrothorn here to have energy advantage in that Mantine matchup, which is likely going to be coming back in. So we do see it come in. This is fine. We're going to look to go for Crunches here. Water Pulse is the move to look out for. An Aerial Ace would still hurt, but it's not something I really want to shield. And Crunches now are starting to land, and we get a defense drop. So this is a situation where I need to actually start shielding. I need to utilize my Crocolore to potentially win this game, but I risk it and let it go, thinking that it was going to be an Aerial Ace. Again, it's a close call, but I go for the Crunch. They let it go. We get a second defense drop, and the final Pokemon is Ninetales. Now, looking back at this, I probably should have been shielding Crocolore, right? I said that I should probably do it. But again, this is me talking in retrospect about the games that I did earlier, right? In the moment, you make hard decisions, and you only have like 5 seconds to make that decision, right? To shield or not to shield. So I was risking that, you know what, Superior might be the better option to give 2 shields to try to win this game, but they actually had an Alolan Ninetales in the back. So this was Mantine into Crocolore, this was Ferrothorn into Shadow Feraligatr, and now Alolan Ninetales into Superior. Triple hard counter, if I do say so myself, but we charge attack priority the Frenzy Plant right there. Had we been able to get that Frenzy Plant, we win this game. So this team has the flexibility, boom, has the flexibility to potentially win. Obviously, if I shielded Crocolore and just farmed down, we win because I incinerate down the Alolan Ninetales. Had I been able to maybe have better fast move or charge move timing there with Serperior, we win against the Alolan Ninetales. Good game. Alright, moving to the next one. We have Steelix on the lead, but this is a swap out here into Dugong. So we got to run the same strategy that we did before, where we soften it up and then we bring in the Feraligatr. Now, in the previous matchup, I decided to stay in and then try to catch the charge move. This time, I'm just going to go straight into Feraligatr. If they hit me with the Drill Run, so be it. What I don't want to do is be giving up a shield on the Crocalor, risking the Drill Run damage landing. So we're just going to come right in, go for the Hydro Cannon, knowing that, you know what, we survived Drill Run and we outpaced to the next charge move with Shadow Claw. So we land the Hydro Cannon. That is going to be a beautiful Dugong out of the game. And now something interesting is going to happen. It's going to be a Thunder Fang Steelix. Yes, the Bright Light Chomper coming in, which is pretty cool, spicy. Hats off to my opponent there. But Crocalor right here can absolutely shred with Incinerate. We're going to let the first charge move go through. It's likely going to be Psychic Fangs, which is going to lower our defenses. And then we're going to look to go for Crunch for that neutral damage. I might now opt to swap into Serperior because I'm going to need to get ahead on energy and I don't want to get farmed down. So now I swap into Serperior and they bring in a Chandelure. And I'm like, oh lord, this team is spicy. So we're going to go for Aerial Ace here. And this is why I love Serperior, is with the Aerial Ace update, Serperior is just such a good grass type Pokemon. It's probably, honestly, my favorite in the Great League. It's bulk. It's the fast move, the frenzy plant, the aerial ace, low energy, bait, and coverage. It's beautiful. So now we're going to go for another aerial ace here to get rid of the Chandelure. I think we might be able to get to a third if they decide to shield. Actually, no, we don't get to a third, but they let it go. They come in with Steelix, and we do get to the aerial ace here in time. Obviously, I'm hoping this gets the final shield, but my opponent rightfully no shields it in call of the aerial ace, and now Crocalor is going to come in. We're going to shield and we're going to incinerate down. So very interesting endgame right there. I think it could have gone either way, depending how my opponent decided to play it. But overall, good battle. All right, moving to the next one. We have Crocalor versus Shadow Magnezone. Obviously, we love to see this lead, and they will swap out into Gligar, so I'm coming in with the Shadow Feraligatr here. What I'm hoping to do is I got in there a bit late. I should have waited and not get caught in the Incinerate fast move, but I'm going to be forced to shield here. It's kind of tough, especially with such a hard lead. You want to try to get the damage through if they decide to stay in too long, like for a half second or whatever. Boom! But you also don't want to get caught in a fast move animation and come back into a matchup. Now, they decide to let it go, which is fine. They're probably coming in with Magnezone and loading up on energy. But this allows me to now get to a Hydro Cannon in time, which is going to do quite a bit of neutral damage. So this should get me the 1-to-1 shields. And if it doesn't, well, we get a lot of damage in one shot. So they decide to shield, rightfully so. I'm coming in with Crocalor, looking to Incinerate down, and I will shield right here. We got the Incinerate through, which means if this is Wild Charge, that damage will tick, and they will now swap out, but it's Cresselia in the back. That's a good game. Crocalor outside of Future Sight, obviously that would do a lot of damage. It's likely going to be Grass Knot and Moonblast, and we just keep getting defense drops here with Crunch, so that is going to be a good game as they decide to surrender. Alright, moving to the next one. Crocalor versus Serperior on the lead. Love this lead, likely seeing a Dugong in the back, but it's actually going to be Gligar. So now what we're going to do is stay in and try to soften it up, as I know swapping in right now might lose myself switch advantage into the Feraligatr because I was so many fast moves behind. So we're going to go for the Crunch. We get the shield, and now we come in with the Shadow Feraligatr. An Aerial Ace or Dig will not one-shot, so I'm relatively safe to no-shield this. As I decided to let it go, it was Aerial Ace, which is perfect, and now they're throwing the back-to-back, which is fine. I can now safely give up a shield, and in this situation, we are ahead, and we will be able to maintain switch advantage, because if they decide to shield this, right, I shield the next Aerial Ace, and then I go for a Hydro, we take the mid-game, right? You guys can see that. Boom, down it goes. Now they come in with their own Serperior, and I'm going to try to get to the Ice Beam in time, but I don't, so I'm throwing the Hydro Cannon right here. Still a good amount of damage. which is always nice to have as we get it to about 50% HP, and Crocolore will swap in, but in comes Mantine. And this is the Pokemon that can be very tough to beat. Now, our Crocolore has a good opportunity to win this game for us with the Crunch debuff. No, we don't get it there. Trying to catch the Water Pulse. Now, we don't catch it right there. Obviously, this is either Ice Beam or Aerial Ace, so it's going to do super effective damage. We let it go. It is the Aerial Ace, and now we're going to try to get to that Frenzy Plant in time. But if I can keep my Crocolore healthy, I might be able to just incinerate down this game. So I decide to let both of these go through, and now go for the Frenzy Plant. This is a tough call to be made, but I figure if I can get a shield from Mantine, which they don't, they let it go, boom. Well, now I'm definitely winning this game, as we will be able to not get to the Aerial Ace. But had they shielded that, right? All I need to do is come in with Crocolore, shield the potential Water Pulse, go for one Crunch, Mantine's gone, and then we fast move down their Superior. So that's what we're going to do right here. We're going to go for double fast moves, and that is going to be a good game, very well played, as Incinerate is just such a great fast move to utilize in the Great League. That is going to be a good battle. So overall, I believe that was the final one. Overall, this team was very strong. I felt comfortable facing off even in the toughest of matchups, right? That Carbink double grass was pretty tough, the Tropius, but we were very close right there. Had I been able to catch that Rock Slide, we potentially win that game. So there's a lot of play to be had. It's a beautiful Fire Grass Water combination, utilizing cool starter Pokemon or a teenager mid-evolution Fire starter right there, and probably Pokemon you guys have access to. So I definitely recommend, and you guys can mix and match some of these if you want to, but I had a great time using it. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.